Hey guys, it's Lane with Tim's Nation. I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about the Leagues of Votann list I'm bringing into our tournament here. Now, Leagues of Votann won their last game, but this time we're playing against Necrons in the Canoptic Court, which is probably one of the top 3 or 4 armies in the game right now. Necrons are still real strong, even after the last not balance day, it's like the last points update with the field manual. So they're still really strong. The fact that those Doomstalkers are out there rerolling all hits all game long is really strong. The Wraiths are still really durable. The Spiders, rezzing spiders is still the bane of my gameplay here. So, but I decided to change the Votann list just a little bit here. I'm just bringing the biggest hammer I can. So. This time we've got 3 Hekaton land fortresses. We've got 5 Sagittars and 1 deep striking 10-man brick of the Einhir Hearthguard. Other than that, just a couple characters and some basic Hearthkin to fill out the Sagittars. So just put as much as I can into vehicles. If I had a 6th Sagittar, I'd probably try to bring it. Please ignore the Hekaton that is very poorly painted. I bought a lot of Votann off of eBay 6 months, a year ago, and he painted up a bunch of the Hearthguard and some of the other models, but still had this Hekaton that someone, I think, put black contrast all over and then painted everything, all the bits gold. So I haven't put any work into that. So that's not my handiwork there. Don't blame me for that one. And as soon as any Hekaton dies, that one will be going off the table. But we'll go through the list here. It's pretty simple, not super complex. Then we'll talk about how it's going to function afterwards. All right, guys and girls, this is our Leagues of Votann list. Today we've got 2,000 points on the nose. Leagues of Votann, they get their judgment tokens. That's their thing. And at the beginning of the game, I give out 2 judgment tokens to 4 different units to prejudge some things. And if I kill one of those things that's been prejudged, I get some command points, some bonus command points. Just depends on what turn I kill it in. If I kill it before my 2nd command phase of the game in round 2, I get 3 command points. After that, it goes down a little bit. So our judgment tokens, when we put judgment tokens on, 1 judgment token gives me +1 to hit, and a 2nd judgment token gives me +1 to wound. So the actual list, we have 3 characters. We have 1 Einhir champion. The E-champ has the enhancement Grim Demeanor. This means her unit can reroll battle shock tests, but the big thing is that she ignores any modifiers. Her units ignores any modifiers. That's modifiers to hit, modifiers to wound, and that's even modifiers to their AP. So she will be leading a 10-man brick of Einhir Hearthguard. The E-champ's built-in special rules that her unit can reroll charges, and she does impact mortals when she completes a charge. Next, we have not 1 but 2 Grimnirs and their little robot buddies, the Corvs. So one of these Grimnirs will have the enhancement Praising Glare. This just means that the enhancement lets me, at the beginning of each command phase, I pick an objective on the table, and I consider any enemy unit within range of that objective marker as having 1 more judgment token than what it actually has. Let me just double check the rules here to make sure I'm... Okay, it has to be an objective marker that my opponent controls. So in each of my command phases, I pick 1 objective marker that my opponent controls, and anytime I target any of their units within range of that objective, I count it as having 1 more judgment token than what it actually does. Now, the actual Grimnirs themselves, they have a pretty solid psychic attack. So their psychic attack, I'm just going to say that you do the focused one, the focused Witchfire here. It's 6 attacks, hits on trues, strength 6, AP2, D3 damage. It is hazardous when we overcharge it there. But with the +1 to hit and wound from the judgment tokens, that can actually do some significant damage at strength 6. So we'll see how it performs there. His abilities involve leading a unit. So it's not really going to be super relevant, but he's just there to basically take up a little space to fill up one of the Sagittars, so that I don't have an empty Sagittar that I lose at the beginning of the game, and do a little bit of psychic damage, maybe pop out, do an action, get on an objective. We'll see. We'll see what the mission is and what the secondaries I pull. but I've got 2 of these guys basically because they're cheap little units that I can put into Sagittars. Next, we have two 10-mans of the Hearthkin Warriors. The Hearthkin Warriors, their special abilities, they can sticky objectives, and I can split these 10-man units in half if 5 of them go into a Sagittar. So this way I can fill the Sagittars, because the Sagittars only have a 5-man transport capacity. The Hearthkin have got all the little bips and bops on them, so they've got a Magna Rail and a missile launcher and a medic pack and a scanner, so they ignore cover, and they've got their Thane there leading them. So really just hoping these guys get out there, get on objectives. They are OC2. I hope they get out there, get on objectives, and do actions, that kind of thing. That's what they're here for. My little action monkeys. Next, 10 of the Hearthkin Warrior. I'm sorry, the Hearthguard, the Einherjar Hearthguard. As I mentioned, the Einherjar Hearthguard are being led by the E-Champ. This is important because they're special rules and they're led by a character. They're -1 to wound by things that are stronger than their toughness. So that just makes them a little bit more durable. They have 2-up saves. So the 2-up save combined with a -1 to wound makes them a little more durable. They also, I can use the Void Armor strat to reduce AP by 1. Of course, going into DJ's Necrons with these stupid spiders, the big problem for me is mortals. So when he decides to tank shock with a unit coming into these, it can pick up up to 3 of my little Hearthguard, because they're only 2 wounds apiece and they don't really have any defense to mortals. Now, these guys are equipped with the plasma guns and the concussion gauntlets, so they're here to shoot and fight. Really just hoping to deep strike them in, maybe rapid ingress them in this game, see where they go. But they hit pretty hard, and a lot of times because they have so many shots, both with their plasmas and then their grenade launchers on their shoulders, a lot of times I use the sustained fire stratagem on these guys just to put out extra damage with them. So next we have 5 Sagittars. So the Sagittars special rules that they can advance, and then whatever units embark within them can then get out and act as if it was a normal move. So it just allows the embarked units to be a little more flexible for doing actions and that sort of things. Of course, I don't want too many of these Sagittars advancing because I want to be shooting them the whole time. All 5 of them have the high las gun on them. So the high las beam cannon. It's got a 24-inch range. It's 2 shots. Ballistic skill is 4, but remember, if it's judgment tokens, they get +1 to hit. It is strength 12, AP 3, D6 damage. So it can put out some damage, especially when we're targeting things we get +1 to hit and +1 to wound on. And then, of course, it is sustained hits D3. So anytime I roll a 6 to hit, I get D3 additional hits on top of that, which is just gold. So the more of these things you have, the more consistently you're going to be rolling 6s in your shooting phase. Remember, with 5 of these, and each one gets 2 high-las beam cannon shots, that's 10 dice I'm going to throw each shooting phase, as long as they're all alive. So that's a good opportunity for a few 6s. Now, of course, I could just not roll any 6s. That's a possibility as well. But really just hoping for a few 6s here to really maximize that damage, especially because most of DJ's army has a lot of invulns in his Necrons. So the AP 3 is not going to be super relevant. There's going to be a lot of 4-up invulns on things. Maybe the spiders it's helpful into. And D6 damage can still be really swingy too. So it's really just about volume of fire with these guys. One or two of these is really inconsistent, but once you got 5 on the board, they start to actually produce some results. Yeah, they each have a twin-linked bolt cannon as well. So strength 6, AP 1, 2 damage sustained, and they also are twin-linked. So they can consistently put out some shots and some damage with those twin-linked bolters. And then finally, 3 Hekaton land fortresses. Yep, like I said, we got one that's real ugly. Don't look at that one. He's parked way in the back. Don't look at him. But the Hekatons, this is something that's not exactly WYSIWYG. 2 of these things have the Magna Rails on them. I'm taking the SP heavy conversion beamers on all 3 of them. So all 3 have the SP conversion beamer and then the twin-linked bolt cannons all around. The SP conversion beamer is really strong just because it has the conversion keyword, which means that anytime you roll a hit roll, if you're more than 12 inches away, So if you're more than half the distance of the weapon away, so between 12 and 24, anytime you roll a 4-up, it procs off the sustained, and it is sustained D3. So anytime I roll a 4-up, when I'm at that sweet spot, that range of 12 to 24 inches from my target, any 4-ups generate sustained D3 hits. It's strength 10, AP2, 4 damage. The Hekatons have the panspectral scanner on them, so they ignore cover too. And they're a flat 4 damage, so hoping to get some shots through with those as well. Again, 2 sets of twin-link bolt cannons on each of these, so they do have a good number of shots, including the Matter autocannon there. So a lot of shots coming out. They're pretty durable at toughness 12, 2-up armor save, and 16 wounds. They do stick around a little time. Well, hopefully they stick around a while. And make them a little more tougher to get knocked off. I'm really counting on the vehicles to do damage, obviously, today. But that's the list. That's the list, guys. As you can see, just all the vehicles I have for Votann. I brought them all today. We need that durability. I love the Pioneer and jet bikes, but they have no invuln in this edition, and they really needed that from past edition to give them some kind of durability, because most things just chew right through them. Even with 3 wounds apiece, there are so many different weapon profiles to just eat them up. So the Sagittars, despite the fact that you only got 9 wounds on them, they are kind of durable because they're toughness 10, a little bit higher toughness than most of your average transports. If you're looking at like a Rhino chassis, it's usually toughness 9. So having the toughness 10 makes them just a little bit harder to kill. And they're going to be great for zipping around, dropping off Hearthkin to do actions, to get busy, cleansing objectives, and deploying teleport homers, and maybe investigating some signals, while the Sagittars themselves still get to shoot and put out that damage. I'm just really hoping for that quantity of damage from the 3 Hekatons and the 5 Sagittars, getting those sustained rolls on them. It's really what we're looking for. As far as key stratagems, the stratagems I'm really looking at here are the sustained is useful, especially with a big squad of Hearthguard, the baby Terminators, when they deep strike in, putting sustained on them. When they target something with judgment tokens, it becomes sustained too. And with each one getting D6 grenade shots blast, and each one getting a plasma shot as well, that can really add up to a high volume of shots. So looking for that. And then also the fallback shoot and charge is super strong as well. Especially on the Hekatons, but also on the Hearthguard too. And of course, Void Armor is going to be important, being able to reduce that AP by 1 from incoming attacks. So hopefully I don't burn through all my CP too quickly. I found that a lot of times I make mistakes with the Votann by trying to go for that CP bonus by killing one of my prejudged units as quick as possible, and sometimes exposing too much of my army. So I'm going to try to play it kind of conservatively today. That worked all right for me last time I played with them, and not going too hard with the army too quickly. We'll see. We'll see if I remember that. Follow me over to the battle report. We'll see if I actually do that, guys. But that's it. That's the list. So as I mentioned, follow me over to the battle report. We'll see how the Leagues of Votann do against the Necron Canoptic Court. See you there.